In the past few years, I have watched way too many people a few years older than me just completely waste their entire 20s. They are now either about to turn 30 or already 30, and they have nothing to show for their 20s at all. What's really too bad is I think a lot of these people actually did have potential, and if they worked hard, they would have something to show for their 20s. But unfortunately, they don't. And every single one of them, their lives are the exact same. So today, I'm here to explain to all of you how to go nowhere fast. I promise you, if you follow this blueprint, you will have nothing to show for your life ever. The easiest way for someone to go nowhere fast is to have a crippling iPhone addiction. Let's be real. Most people currently in their 20s use their iPhone for at least 6 hours a day. And in those 6 hours, they do nothing productive. And not only do they do nothing productive, but also a lot of the stuff they look at on their phone actually really stresses them out and causes brain fog, whether they realize it or not. For most people in their 20s, and for currently some people right now in their 30s, when they look back at their 20s, the objective reality is that the number one thing they did with their time was use their iPhone. And like I just said, nothing they do on their iPhone is productive. Anyone who spends over a third of their day staring at a screen doing nothing productive is absolutely going nowhere fast. And the number one reason that most people currently addicted to their iPhone are not going to quit is because they're way too stressed out when they're not looking at their iPhone. So they always are going to go back to their phone. And the stress is a result of two factors. The first factor is that everything they look at on their phone is stressing them out, whether they realize it or not. And the second factor is that they've been using their phone all day, every day for so many years that when they don't use their phone, they don't know what to do with themselves and they find it overwhelming. But ultimately, regardless of why people use their phones all day or why they're going to keep using their phones all day, it is an objective fact that using an iPhone for hours and hours and hours a day is a great way to go nowhere fast. Another way to go nowhere fast is the only plan is a 9 to 5. And the key word there is the word only. A 9 to 5 is absolutely the easiest way to get money fast, for sure. Other projects, like starting a YouTube channel, it takes time and effort. And of course, people just want to put work in and get money for just showing up. I totally understand that, which is why the key word is only. Because even though in the short term, a 9 to 5 is a good way to immediately get money, in the long term, none of us are going anywhere with 9 to 5 jobs. First of all, most people in their 20s actually can't get a job. I would say of the group of people I keep tabs on and what they're doing in their life, it's only half of them who are even working. And these people who can't get hired, it's not like they have a bad college degree or they're a bad interviewer or stuff like that. Most of the time, when they apply for jobs, they can't even get a response. And I have tried so many times to explain to these people, okay, so it's been 6 months. You've applied for 300 jobs. You got 5 responses and 1 interview, and then the interviewer ghosted you. So what? In month 7, you're magically going to start getting a bunch of responses and a bunch of interviews, and you're going to get hired for a job. And then in month 8, you're going to show up, start getting paid a ton of money, and love your job and your coworkers. Yeah, right. It's totally delusional that people who apply for hundreds of jobs but can't even get a response think that one day, magically, a fairy's gonna wave their wand and all of a sudden they'll be working an amazing 9 to 5. And then, even for the people who do currently have a 9 to 5 that actually pays them good money, I'm not exactly sure what their long-term plan is. First of all, these jobs just don't pay like that anymore. They just don't. Most people my age, when they were a teenager, they totally thought by the time they were in their mid to late 20s they'd be making $100K a year, but they're not. Most of them are making max $50K a year, and they hate their job. And then, on top of that, they're not getting promoted. For a good example, let's use someone who has a real good job that does pay good money, like an accountant who works for a big accounting firm. Their boss, who is 35, they're not going anywhere. That person's boss, who's 45, they're not going anywhere. That person's boss, who's 55, they're not going anywhere. I could keep going, but you all get my point. Of course, the fact that they're making 80K a year right now or whatever is great. And most people can't get jobs that pay that much money, so they should absolutely keep doing them in the short term. But in the long term, I feel like they're just maxed out at most 150K at most. I feel like a lot of these people who are 27 making 80K think they're going to be 32 making 500K. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be 32 making 120K maybe. And the main thing about that is, how is that money going to help them level up in life? If these people work from age 25 to 40, they still won't be able to buy a super nice house. Until our generation, the entire point of working a 9-to-5 nonstop was to be able to buy a house and then go be able to do whatever you want when you want. If people in their 20s with good jobs save their money properly, they will have enough money to do what they want for the most part, but they currently live in a single apartment or in a house with some housemates right now, and that's the exact same situation they're going to be in if they just mindlessly do their 9-to-5 job. Most people can't get a job, and then for the people who do have a job, they're not really getting paid that much and don't like it. And even people who are making decent money, I feel like their ceiling is capped by their only plan being a 9-to-5. And on top of all of that, working on other stuff, it's both less work and less stressful. Yeah, it takes time to make money, but ultimately these people would feel really satisfied if they could quit their job because they started making money doing something they want to do. And to be clear, like I said, at least half of the people I know cannot get a job to save their life, but for some reason, they're convinced that their only plan should be a 9-to-5. It's totally crazy. And then, for people both employed and unemployed, for most people my age, it doesn't matter because all of them gamble their money away. Gambling is absolutely one of the easiest ways to go nowhere fast. I know several people who worked a job for multiple years and actually worked really hard, at least 40 hours a week. And then, ultimately, after a couple years, they quit their job because they hated it. And instead of having tens of thousands of dollars in the bank, they gambled all of their money away. These people, if they did not gamble, when they quit their job, if they had saved their money properly, they could have gone and just done whatever they wanted. They could have picked a random city, moved there, and if they had gotten a job in a few months, it all would have worked out fine because they would have had money in their bank account. But instead, these people are literally broke, sitting at their parents' house, and their parents can't stand them because they know that their kid is wasting their life gambling all their money away. A couple years ago, I watched a kid right in front of me gamble his rent money. He was telling everyone in the room, "Oh guys, this is my rent money, should I bet it?" And everyone else in the room was telling him yes and thought it was some sort of funny joke. And of course, he lost the bet. If you can't pay rent, if you can't just pay your basic bills, if you don't have the financial discipline to just have money in your bank account in case a problem arises, you're so screwed. That's how to go nowhere fast 101. Another huge component of going nowhere fast is a lot of people now put no effort into their friendships. The amount of people I know who gamble at least $500 a week, but are completely unwilling to spend $80 on a sports game ticket or a concert ticket to hang out with their friends, are unwilling to go to the bar and spend $40 on a bar tab, but they're gambling all day, every day. They're just not willing to put effort into their friendships. Most people currently in their 20s do not hit people up asking them to hang out in person. Ever. They just don't do it. And then these people who go years and years and years without hitting anyone up. All of a sudden, they're 29 and they haven't heard from most of their friends in years. And they go, oh, everybody left me. Wow, you're all so mean. Like, dude, you don't text anyone and you don't ask anyone to hang out. Why would I or anyone else care about someone who they haven't seen in person in 3+ years? It seems like some young people have such a big ego that they think they can just sit around and do nothing and people are still going to care about them. Nope. Oh man, the amount of people who every time I hit them up lie. Like, geez, if I've known you for years and years and years and I'm hitting you up asking to hang out and you're lying to me, yeah, you're not my friend anymore. Some of these people I haven't seen in years, and then I text them, hey, I'm in your area for an extended period of time. I know you're busy, just let me know. And then they don't ever let me know. What, and we're going to hang out 5 years from now? Nah, I'm good, man. You put no effort into this friendship, so I'm out. And seriously, these people I know who are 30 or about to turn 30, they spent their 20s losing all of their friends because they put no effort in. Don't be them. And the final component of going nowhere fast is being incapable of self-reflection. I don't think people necessarily owe external accountability to others explaining what they want to do with their life and all of that. But people absolutely got to be able to self-reflect. And most of these people I know who spent their 20s going nowhere fast, there was never a single point where they ever thought about how their life was going. And if anybody ever made a comment to them about where their life was going, they would immediately just give some nonsense answer. And it's not about other people. It's about them. They're wasting their lives and they should care, but they don't. And in my opinion, it's either reflect now or have regret later. These people could choose to be aware that they use their iPhone too much, to be aware that they can't get hired, so they should stop banking on a 9-to-5. They should be aware that their gambling habit is destroying them. They should be aware that they're not actually trying to hang out with their friends. They should be aware that they're not reflecting on any of this. But instead, anytime they think a thought that makes them feel uncomfortable, they just go stare at their phone. If your goal is to spend the rest of your adult life living with regret that you never even tried in your 20s, then keep that crippling iPhone addiction. Keep telling yourself that 9-to-5 is going to work. Keep telling yourself that your gambling problem isn't a problem. Keep telling yourself it's your friend's fault and not your fault. Keep telling yourself that there's no reason to reflect on any of this and that it's just better to stare at your iPhone. I promise you, you will go nowhere and you will spend your entire adult life, 30s, 40s, 50s, full of regret that all you did in your 20s was go nowhere fast. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. This has been Weedified. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and comment. I will see you all in the next video.